Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the KR Daily Transmission. It's wonderful to be here with you. As always, one of my favorite times of the day, being able to connect with you live. I am really excited to share about what's on my heart today. It might be a bit of an S curve of a YouTube live, but I'm really happy to be sharing some of these thoughts with you today. Hi, welcome. So this week I had an experience where someone was judging me for the amount of self-care that I need to participate in to do what I do in my life, and the amount of healing that is required to manage the stress levels, manage just what it means to be healing as a public figure, what it means to keep showing up to the massive amount of responsibilities that I take on every day, both as a business owner, a spiritual teacher, and guide for others. Like, my life is continually a hot mess of healing, personal development, and showing up, especially when it's hard, to the responsibilities of my life and my role. And I'm not saying that in a complaining way. It's just to give you some background about this experience that's, I think, a huge win for me and for everyone that is involved in this moment. And the truth is that no one is ever gonna ever know what it's like to be me inside of my body every day of my life. No one will ever know what it's like to recover from what I've recovered from. Just like no one will ever know what it's like to be you. Just like no one will ever know what it's like to be inside your body, to live your journey, to show up to all of the archetypes and roles and responsibilities that you've taken on in your life. Maybe you're also an entrepreneur, a business owner, a mentor, a coach. Perhaps you're at the leading edge of your field, parenting, community service. It's just like there's so many things that we have to show up to every week, every month, every business quarter, all year long. And what I loved about this moment for me this week was that it really helped me double down in the truth of like what's real for me. And not that I would ever walk away from what's real for me, but sometimes, if you ever had that moment, and feel free to share in the chat if you have you ever had those moments where people question you and it only makes you stronger in your resolve to stay true to yourself? And that's what I'm taking as the win in this. Everything we experience is an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to deepen in our truth. It's an opportunity to get really clean and clear, and with one another and with our own hearts. And so it really made me recognize, wow, I am truly living the teachings of Kuan Yin from the Sophia Code. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. I want to talk to you about this teaching from the Sophia Code and how essential it is that we keep having this conversation about self-love, self-care, and being on your own team, no matter what anyone says or thinks about it. Because guess what? It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks about what you're doing. If you know in your heart that you are doing you exactly as you need to do you. So I wanted to turn to the Sophia Code and like really turn spiritual, like gather the spiritual gold of this moment, because I was like, man, if I'm having this experience, there's got to be so many other people in the collective field that in some way is having this experience for themselves. And if if you have had this experience recently, whether it's this week or this month or this season, where someone has either questioned or judged or tried to minimize what you know is a need for yourself, or even a whole reality that you've chosen to create for yourself, feel free to share in the chat that this is relevant for you, that this is something that you're really stepping into your empowerment with as well. Because, you know, as we are all very transparent with each other and grow together, we discover that we're not alone. This is something that this is something that we're universally experiencing. So I'm turning to page, where is it? Page 250 in the Sophia Code. And I'm going to start at the top of the page where, yeah, there's so many people sharing in the chat about how relevant this conversation is. I'm so grateful for your honesty and your authenticity. I'm not surprised that this is coming up for people during this Virgo time of year. Of the energy of Virgo, we had that new moon in Virgo a couple weeks ago. It's the energy of really looking at and getting super clear about, you know, what are the systems that do work for us, what is working for us, what doesn't work for us, what needs to change. And again, it's so important that we can ask for the opinions of others, we can ask for the support of others, we can even ask for the mentorship of others, but ultimately the true embodiment of sovereignty is self-knowing, it's self-love, it's self-care, it's being on your own team, it's knowing that no matter what anyone may perceive about something being too much or too little or excessive, if it's just right for you, it's just right for you. And you've got to own that. Excuse me. You have to claim that in a way that is unshakable. Like we have an activation in our activation series called Unshakable Faith. And part of unshakable faith is having unshakable faith in your own heart. That if your heart is guiding you to an intuition, and you start living in that intuition, embodying the truth of that intuition, and it starts working for you, chances are good people are going to test you on that. Chances are good people are going to question your commitment to that. Part of that is your own consciousness testing you through what's seemingly coming from you from other people. But there's a double side to that. The other side of it is people often question if you're doing something that's right for you, if they're not doing it for themselves. If they're holding out on themselves, if they're judging themselves for what they really need that they're not giving to themselves. Just going to let that truth bomb kind of linger in the air. So I would love to read this passage with you in the Sophia Code. All right, we're at the top of page 250 in the Sophia Code. Excuse me. Paragraph 2. Embodying Karuna compassion, these are the words of Kuan Yin, begins with learning how to love yourself first. Yes. Can I get an amen? Holding all the parts of yourself throughout every present moment and in every circumstance. It requires softening your heart to accept that the gift of your own Karuna compassion is the standard you deserve to experience in your relationship with yourself. Next paragraph. No one else's opinion is required to acknowledge, quantify, or qualify your authentic experience of suffering for it to be real for you. Practicing karuna, which is the Sanskrit word for compassion, does not require anyone else's approval or participation for you to receive the compassion that you deserve. Everything happening within you is here to be unconditionally honored by you without needing anyone else's permission to do so. Karuna compassion is taking the time to be present with your authentic experience and being kind to yourself in every way. We're on page 250 of the Sophia Code. We're reading from Kuan Yin's teachings. All right, so check it out. I think sometimes people take these teachings and they think with Kuan Yin, it's like so much of her chapter invites us to go into some of the most trauma-held, frozen places within us. And these teachings are just applicable beyond trauma. They are, as we like to say in the soul power curriculum, it's like they're here to empower the radiance of your soul power, your embodied higher self practices. And so if you were to take this sentence on page 250, where it says, no one else's opinion is required to acknowledge, quantify, or qualify your authentic experience of suffering for it to be real for you, we could take that word suffering and replace it with any other word that's meaningful for you. So for example, we could take this sentence, no one else's opinion is required to acknowledge, quantify, or qualify your authentic experience of your needs for those needs to be real for you. No one else's opinion is required to acknowledge, quantify, or qualify your authentic experience of self-care for it to be real for you. No one else's opinion is required to acknowledge, quantify, or qualify your authentic experience for fill in the blank. Like, what do you want to fill in the blank today? Is it time for yourself? Is it, an investment in something that's meaningful for you? Is it your creativity? Fill in the blank in the chat, or feel free to share it in the video comment replay, the video replay comment fields, because I love this. It's such a fun game. Like, let's go there. No one else's opinion is required to acknowledge, quantify, or qualify your authentic experience of what your calendar needs to look like for it to be real for you. Like, your needs count. And everything about our society is literally programming us day and night to make our needs secondary. And part of being really strong in your sovereign embodiment and really being an embodied way shower for others is discovering what you need, how to take care of yourself, what your boundaries are around that, and how you're going to stay true to that commitment to yourself and to your own heart, no matter what anyone else says about it. Because chances are good, even some of the people that are very closest to you in your life, they're not going to understand. And I think that's why a lot of partners and husbands and wives get on each other's back so much, is because they're expecting that their partner or their husband or wife is just going to completely understand what it's like inside of their body. They're not. No one can ever truly know what it's like to be you inside of your human bodysuit. And even if you explain it multiple times, they may or may not get it based on their ability to perceive, based on, their clairsentience, based on their ability to, be one with their intuition. They may get it to a certain point. They might not ever fully understand your needs. Does that mean you're going to give up your needs because the people that are closest to you don't understand them? No. You just keep embodying what it looks like to take care of you. And the people that are meant to understand what they are there to understand about how you are taking care of you, they will stay. Not only will they stay, they will start to become curious and just learn by resonance through what you're embodying how they can start taking care of themselves better and why you go to the extremes that you do to take care of yourself. I'm loving what's happening in the chat. I am so grateful for everyone's comments in the chat. Please be sure to like this video as well. And if you're new to my channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button because we've got a wealth of information here that can support you and your authentic spiritual awakening. Thanks for liking this video. So, man, I just like, it was so on my heart today. I was just like, this is exactly what we need to talk about on YouTube Live. We need to talk about true, authentic self-love can take in the opinions, the preferences, the ideas of others, but that's not where your final decision begins or ends. Your decisions about how you care for yourself, how you invest in yourself, the time that you create for yourself, it starts with your own heart first, listening to your own heart first, mulling it over, considering how you can create your reality to meet that need. Okay, might involve bumping against other people in your immediate vicinity or in your immediate world, and taking in their perspective or not, by the way, because you don't have to ask anyone's permission at all, ever. And yet you may, out of respect, want to do that. And even after you do that and you take in the reflections of others, guess who gets to decide what's right for you? You. Every time, you. Katie's writing in because that's sovereignty. That's right. That is sovereignty. And we can all start working towards, releasing our disappointment in one another when we stop expecting people to be who we think they're supposed to be on either end of the spectrum. And we just start getting really involved with being our best selves every day. Because if you are focused on loving your own heart, reaching your highest potential, being of sovereign service to others, let me tell you, you're always going to be doing what's right for you, especially when it doesn't make sense to anyone else. Especially. It may take months of embodying what's right for you for other people to catch on, for other people to really believe that what you're doing is right for you and maybe could be right for a lot of other people too. It's so important to understand that as you follow your heart, you are absolutely going to rub up against the edges of others. You are absolutely going to rub up against the wounding of others. You are absolutely going to rub up against the insecurity of others. Does that mean that you stop expanding beyond their edges? No, you keep expanding like the golden dragon of light that you are. You keep growing. You keep loving yourself. You keep choosing you. And guess what happens over days, weeks, months, business quarters, years, decades? People learn to trust you because they know you're always going to be on your own team and you're always doing the very best you can. And you're always rising to the occasion of the present moment to the best of your ability. It's not about perfectionism because being a human being means perfectionism is off the table. And that's just another way that people will try to trap you in that codependent game, trying to get you to be who they want you to be for them to feel safe in the world or for them to feel secure in the world or whatever it is. Let's go back to the statement from the Sophia Code. Today's lesson from Kuan Yin on page 250 of the Sophia Code is that we can take this sentence, no one else's opinion is required to acknowledge, quantify, or qualify your authentic experience for it to be real for you. Boom! Mic drop. Take that into your weekend. And I would love to give you a little homework for this weekend. I invite you to take that statement from the Sophia Code and write it out on a piece of paper and put it on your mirror in your bathroom this weekend. And I invite you to take 3 actions this weekend that you can share about in this video comments. And you can come back to this video. You can watch it again if you get scared or anxious about being on your own team. And you can write in those in the video replay comment fields the 3 actions that you've taken this weekend to follow your own heart, to fulfill your own intuition about what you needed to do for you this weekend to feel like you're having some fun, like you're taking care of your own heart. Maybe it's some extra rest that you need. Maybe it's a creative moment that you haven't given yourself because you keep placating to what everybody else needs. It's just like, how can you be more on your own team this weekend? I'm curious. Now, I want to share a little bit just for a moment about what's coming up in October. Of course, we've already started our Sophia Circle leadership journey, our live mentorship journey, which is started off with a bang. Oh my God, it's fire. It's pure fire. So we're keeping the temple gates open for less than 2 more weeks. So if you're interested in leading Sophia Circle journeys with this life-changing modern sacred text, get on the phone with my team angels. They're here to help you through the application process. The other thing I want to share with you about is that I'm going to be in Scottsdale, Arizona on October 15th. For an event. It's only in person. We're not doing a live broadcast. And there's Sophia. This in-person event is called Love from the Other Side. And I would love to meet you there. And I would love to step into this consciousness with you together and practice our psychic development together. For the first time live, I will be offering psychic messages for people who have loved ones that have departed in the spirit world, who still have a divine purpose with that loved one on the other side. I have a feeling there'll be loved ones, there'll be probably healing sessions as well between those who are still here and those who have loved ones on the other side. But this has been one of my gifts since childhood. I've always been able to see people that have crossed over, and I've always heard their messages for their loved ones that are still embodied. And it's something that I consciously chose to not promote for years as a channel, because it was very important for me that when I stepped into this public career, that people understood that first and foremost, my mission was a global mission. It was to serve the High Council of Ascended Masters, the Sophia Dragon Tribe, and the awakening of humanity. And I never wanted to just stand on a stage and do like a dog and pony trick show of, just telling people messages from the other side. It was just, my mission was so much bigger than just being a medium. And even though I am a natural trance medium, that is not how I choose to channel. And so the Ascended Masters blessed me with a channeling technique where I'm able to perfectly, facilitate these dialogues with loved ones on the other side without any spirit world activity happening in my body. And I'm just so grateful for that, because there's so much weird in the transmediumship world that I'm completely disinterested in. So the way that I am structuring this event is that we are focusing on psychic development. We're also focusing on recognizing the rainbow bridge of a divine purpose between those who stand in this world and those who are working from heaven above, hoping to connect with their loved ones in this world. And so it's interesting because this perfectly aligns with this topic of self-love. There are 2 souls that I lost early in life. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about how or why without being censored. So I'll keep that to the private event storyline where I'll share more about that. But these 2 souls have been with me my whole life since they crossed over to the other side. And they've acted as very powerful guardian angels of protection. But as you know, I have countless guardian angels and guides. And so they blended in well with the sea of faces that I work with as a channel. And they also knew that I wasn't ready to identify them until I was ready. I had to do enough emotional healing and clearing to understand who was truly guiding me, who they were as part of my guidance team. And over the past few years, as I've become closer and closer to these two incredible souls in heaven, co-creating with me here, receiving their love from the other side, it was over this past year that I realized I need to open my heart to sharing this gift with others. And this is the first time I'm going to do that publicly. Of course, I've done that in private sessions when I used to offer private sessions. And so this is the first time I've ever done this in this way publicly. And I hope that you can join us for this groundbreaking event on October 15th next month in Scottsdale, Arizona. It's a beautiful venue. Come out and be a part of the Sophia Code community, be a part of this, leading edge consciousness that we're activating hearts worldwide with. We're so happy to be here with you live, throughout the week, whenever I can be here live with you. And we're so, so grateful that so many of you have joined us for this year's certification program. Sophia Circle Leadership is, of course, here to empower you individually, but we also have a master plan blueprint from the Ascended Masters to serve a global mission. And it's just so exciting for me to see that so many people are starting to get the vision that the Sophia Code movement is here to bless the world with. Thank you so much from my heart to yours for choosing your own heart, for following your heart, for getting on your own team, and really getting serious about your own needs this weekend and taking a stand for them. And, lovingly and respectfully pushing back when people do not understand that, they may or may not understand with time. And it's been so much fun being live with you here this week. It's been such an honor. I love you all so much. I'll see you next week here for the KR Daily Transmission. Please be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel. And if you're watching the replay, feel free to like this video and add your comments in the replay. Have a great weekend, everyone. Loving your own hearts first. Namaste.